joining me at the counter are Tim and Debbie Bishop. Welcome.
Hello, how are you?
Very good. Welcome to the program. And first of all, I just have to congratulate you both on recently getting married. And while most people have a honeymoon, you took a spinning moon. And for many moons. Tell us a little bit, why a bike ride and why across America?
That's a great question. We love physical activity. Tim and I met, our first date was on a bike. So we carried that through our friendship and into our marriage. We also love being outdoors, and we love this country too. So it was the perfect thing to do for our honeymoon.
Little did we know that we both had that dream. That became apparent after I had proposed to Debbie, actually moments after, when we discussed the possibility.
That's actually super interesting, and I think what listeners need to know is that you two are not 24 or 25 years old, are you?
Oh, no.
Not anymore.
In fact, times maybe 2 or so. I don't know. But it's a very big adventure. Tell us a little bit about what you had hoped to get out of the endeavor. Obviously, it was after your marriage, and, that was part of it. But were there some other things or hopes that you wanted to, or goals that you wanted to achieve?
Well, I think for both of us, we were 52 when we got married. We had never been married before, and we were both professional singles, I'd call it. We had careers. We spent a lot of time and focus on our work. But we also like to recreate, but as a person tied up with a career, you didn't have an opportunity like this. And then when you add to that, never having been married before and really wanting to, dive right in and bond together, what better way to do it than spend 24/7 together for several months?
Yeah, Libby, we were together for 63 days on our bike trip, and we had a long-distance relationship, so we really didn't spend that much time together when we were getting to know each other. So this was full immersion, and it was wonderful.
Wow, I can see how that was really a good experience. Tell us a little bit now, some great things happened as a result of this particular trip, including a book. Tell us a little bit about the book.
Well, the book really is more than just a travelogue because it talks about how God brought us together, at 52 in marriage. As I said before, neither of us had ever been married, but it certainly was a long-held dream and desire. So the book really urges people on to pursue their own dreams and desires. It's set within the context of the bicycle journey, but it talks about how each of us kind of changed and moved forward into this new area. When you get to be in midlife, there's quite a bit of inertia that's built up around what you do and what you enjoy. And to change that and break out of that takes perhaps a little more effort than it would at age 20, let's say.
So you found yourself actually coming home and entering a whole new world, not the world that you left. Would that be a true statement?
Yes. When we got back, Tim was officially retired. He didn't really know what he was going to do next. And I went back to my teaching of being a literacy specialist. So that was kind of an adjustment. We had such a great time over the summer. And then I had to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and get to work all day and then come home. And then, he was exploring a lot of different things too. So that was an adjustment time. I preferred being on my bike.
Getting back to your question about the book, the essence of it is that it's never too late. And, go keep those dreams and pursue them.
Well,
someday you have an opportunity, and when you have that opportunity, you want to seize it.
And I thoroughly agree. I want to make sure that people know the name of your book, Two Are Better, Midlife Newlyweds Bicycle Coast to Coast and Bicycle Touring, How To, and What We Learned. And this is by Debbie and Tim Bishop. So I'm so glad that you wrote the book and have shared this inspiration. One of my inspiring people include Colonel Sanders, who I believe did not start Kentucky Fried Chicken until he was in his 70s. And I just think that's so incredible.
That is me.
Wow, I did not realize that.
It was 70s or something like that. It's quite a story. So you made the trip. I mean, I'm sure it was quite an endeavor. You're on your bikes. You probably have your carry satchels. But how did you make it across the United States? Where did you sleep? What did you eat?
Well, let me first say that when we embarked on this, we didn't know that we would make it across. That was very much in doubt, but the spirit of the adventure was more about simply going for it and seeing what we could do. So we fully equipped ourselves. It was self-supported. It was just Debbie and I on the road. We had, as you alluded to, 4 panniers in which we put all of the supplies we'd need for 2 months on the road. Debbie was a school teacher, still is actually, and needed to be back by late August, early September. So we had a deadline as well. So we really started the trip. You want to talk about the first 2 weeks and how challenging that was?
Yeah, we really were not in biking shape. We had biked a lot, but we were not really ready for the trip, so we just started pedaling, and the first 2 weeks were pretty tough. We had some saddle sores, some sore muscles, and just being tired from all the excitement of the wedding, and we had a mini honeymoon before we went on the trip, and we had to get Tim packed up and move down to Massachusetts, so by the time we hit the road on our bikes, we were sort of tired. So those first 2 weeks up and down roads that were a lot hillier than we thought, we were pretty, not discouraged, but just really wondering if we were going to be able to do it. And then we had a rest because of the saddle sores, we had to take off some time in Great Falls, Montana. So we stayed there about 5 days and slept a lot. And then I could not wait to get back on the road. And by that time, about 15 days into the trip, well, probably 18 by then, we were ready to finish. And we had about 3,000 more miles to go, though.
And I assume you got to the West Coast, and then you flew back?
No, we actually flew out to the West Coast. My cousin in Portland, and he drove us to Seaside, Oregon, and we had our bikes shipped out there, and then we pedaled all the way back home to, Cape Elizabeth, and then one of Tim's friends drove us home to Marlborough, Mass.
Yeah, to give this time frame some context, I proposed to Debbie on April 22nd. I had a retirement luncheon the next day from a job that I had been in for 26 years. On June 19th, we got married, and July 3rd, we started bicycling. So from the point when I proposed, that triggered, we need to start planning a wedding and a bike trip, basically from scratch. We didn't have the equipment we needed. We had to go out and check to see what was this going to take? What types of things do you need to take with you? And, not the least of which are maps. And it was just, there was so much activity. And then when we started bicycling, we didn't stop bicycling for 15 days. We were so wired, I guess, from all of the activity. And that's what kind of wore us out by the time we got to Great Falls. So the doubt about doing the trip and how we would fare, as Debbie stated, when we relaunched out of Great Falls, we kind of had a new perspective because we got some sleep, for one thing.
Which probably brought that focus of reality.
Yes.
Well, it sounds amazing, and what a commemoration of getting married, truly a life experience. What would you say might be one of the more meaningful experiences that you could share with our audience that you experienced either during or after or because of this journey?
That's a great question. There were so many moments on the trip that were amazing, but the one that sticks out in my mind was we had never been to the Northwest, so we really were paying a lot of attention to the beauty. And we had left Walla Walla, Washington after a great night of just walking around the town and taking in a little concert, and we got up the next day and it was blue sky and beautiful. And we rode for, I think it was 96 miles that day, all the way to Clarkston, Washington. So that was memorable because just a couple days before that, we were having a lot of friction we had a few conflicts. I wanted to get up really early in the morning and leave, and one afternoon we left at like 1:30 in the afternoon because Tim wanted to fix my tire, and I'm like, just change the tire. And so, just from that tension to this unbelievable day, it just gave me a lot of hope, and it also made me realize, wow, we are going to have conflicts in this marriage from time to time, and but they can always be worked out and resolved.
And to be able to embark on a trip like this and share it with someone who you've been waiting for so many years, to be able to share that and all of the memories along the way. It was just the two of us. Even got a chance to slip over to Canada and stop at Niagara Falls for a night. I mean, it was just, I don't know, we couldn't have scripted it better.
Right.
It sounds like a must-read. Debbie and Tim, I have to thank you both for being on the program and sharing this experience. So inspiring. Again, your book is Two Are Better, Midlife Newlyweds Bicycle Coast to Coast and Bicycle Touring, How To, What We Learned. Tell us just briefly where people can get your book, because I know they're going to want to read it.
We have a website, www.openroadpress.com. And we're also on online bookstores, and we're available through distribution. So if anyone goes into a local bookstore and asks for Two Are Better by Tim and Debbie Bishop, they'll be able to pull that through the channels for you.
Sounds great. Thank you again for being on the program.
Thank you,
Thanks
Libby.
so much.
Well, coming up.